Alright, so this is the example that I gave you on Frog. So have a look at this example. So here, can you see that you got 3 and 6 ohms in parallel? So the 3 ohms and 6 ohms in parallel. And have a look at the branches. So the one with the 2, 3, 6 and 2, those two are in parallel. So you've got 2 branches. However, what's in series? So if you look at the 2 ohms and the 3 ohms and the 6 ohms, just at the middle branch, those are in series. The 2 at the bottom branch is in parallel with the 2, 3, 6. Okay, so let's have a look at the parallel one first, the one with the 3 and 6. That's in parallel, but that is in series with the 2 ohms. And the ones in parallel is the 2, the bottom branch, and the 2 and the 3 and the 6. Alright, so what's the equation for adding 2 parallel resistors? So it's 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 equals 1 over R. So what's R1 and R2? Well, it doesn't matter. So in this case, it's 3 and 6. So 1 over 3 plus 1 over 6 equals 1 over R. Alright, so how do you add them? So 1 over 3 plus 1 over 6. Well, 1 over 3, if you times the top and bottom by 2, you get... Sorry, if you times... if you times the top and bottom by 2, you get 2 over 6. So 2 over 6 plus 1 over 6 equals 3 over 6. And simplify 3 over 6, you get 1 over 2 equals 1 over R. So therefore R is equal to 2. Now we can replace the R into the parallel resistance. So the 3 and the 6, you can replace the 3 and the 6 in parallel as just a 2 ohm resistor. Okay, so we're going to replace the 3 and the 6 ohms with a 2 ohms in the middle branch. So in the middle branch, now you've got 2 ohms and 2 ohms. And that is in series. So what do you do? So you just add them. In series, you just add the resistors. So 2 ohms plus 2 ohms is equal to 4. So now we can replace the 2 ohms and the 2 ohms in series with just a 4 ohm resistor. So if we replace with just a 4, you now have 2 resistors in parallel, the 4 and the 2. So the 4 ohms and the 2 ohms are now in parallel. What equation do you use? Correct. It's 1 over R plus 1 over R equals 1 over R. 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 equals 1 over R total. So 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2 equals 1 over R total, 1 over RT. So 1 half is the same as 2 over 4. So 2 plus 1 is 3, and 4 remains the denominator. So 3 over 4 equals 1 over RT. And you flip the fraction upside down because you just want RT. So flip 3 over 4 becomes 4 over 3 equals RT, because RT over 1 equals RT. So as a decimal, it's 1.3 recurring, isn't it? Because if you divide 3 into 4, you get 1 and remainder 1. So it's 1 and a third, which is 1.33 recurring. So that was the answer that I gave you in the Word document on Frog. Alright, so let's have a look at the example that I gave you. So on Frog, I said A, B, C, D were specific values. So I think I said A was 3, B was 6, C was 9, and D was 5. So A was 3, B is 6, C is 9, and D is 5. So how would you answer this question? Well, I'm not going to tell you the answer yet. So the 6 and the 9 are in parallel. So you need to use the parallel equation for that. So the 6 and 9 are in parallel. What's in series? Well, what's in series is the 3 ohms and the 6 and the 9 all together. And what's in parallel? The 3, 6, and 9 are in parallel with the 5 ohms. So we need to do the parallel one first. So it's 1 over 6 plus 1 over 9 equals 1 over r. So you need to add those two fractions together. And then you can work out r. Alright, so 1 over 6 is equal to 3 over 18. 1 over 9 is equal to 2 over 18. And so now you can easily add them. So that's 5 over 18 equals 1 over r. And then from there, you can work out r. Alright, so once you've worked out what r is, that is now in series with the 3. So whatever r is, you just add the 3 to it. And remember, the 3 and the r is not in parallel, it's in series. So you can just add the 3 and the r. Once you've got 3 plus r, you can say that's s, where s is just another number. So remember, the 3 and the 9 are in series. And I've written 1 over 6 plus 1 over 9 equals 1 over r, just to remember where you got that r from. So if we add 3 and the r, you get s, and that is in series. That's just a single number. And whatever that number is, that's in parallel with the 5. So you do 1 over s plus 1 over 5 equals 1 over r. Alright, so let's see if you can work it out by yourself. I'm going to show you the answer next. Alright, so let's work out the answer now. So you should have a go at it yourself. So here's my working out. So first you need to work out parallel. So what's the equivalent resistance for the parallel? So 6 and 9. So 1 over 6 plus 1 over 9 equals 1 over r. And 1 over 6 plus 1 over 9 equals 5 over 18. And that is equal to 1 over r. So remember, you flip the fraction upside down. R is equal to 18 divided by 5. How many times does 5 go into 18? 3 times. That's 3 times 5 equals 15. And you're left with 3 remainder. So it's 3 and 3/5. And what's 3/5 as a decimal? 3.6. So now 3.6 is the equivalent resistance when you have a 6 and 9 resistors in parallel. So once you've got 3.6, that's in series with the 3. So you can just add them. So that's 6.6. So you should have a 6.6 resistor in the middle branch. And that's in parallel with the 5, which the 5 is at the bottom branch. So now you've got a parallel resistor combination of 6.6 and 5. Alright, so the one with the 6.6 and 5, what equation do you use? You use 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 equals 1 over RT. I mean, you can use a calculator. You can say 1 over 6.6 plus 1 over 5 equals 1 over RT. But we're going to do it as a fraction. So we know that R was 18 over 5. That is 3 and 3/5. So 6 and 3/5 is 6.5. So how would you do 1 over that? So let's convert 6 and 3/5 as a fraction, and then we can flip it upside down. So 6 and 3/5 is 33 over 5. And so you flip that upside down. That is 5 over 33. So 5 over 33 is 1 over 6.6. Is that correct? Yes, because if you times top and bottom by 5, so 1 over 6.6, if you times top and bottom by 5, you do get 5 over 33. And so let's add 1 over 5, and that is equal to 1 over r. Now to add two fractions together, you can cross multiply. So 5 times 5 is 25, and 33 times 1 is 33. So it's 25 plus 33, and 33 times 5 is 165. That equals 1 over r. At the top, you get 15/8, and you divide that by 165, that equals 1 over r. So to get r, you flip the fraction upside down. So as a fraction, r is equal to 165 over 58. So that is the resistance, but your answer needs to be as a decimal.